Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel use different formulas to get your work done. Because of these differences, some Excel file uploaded to Google Drive will get corrupted when editing with Google Sheets. In today's video, I will pick my top 3 major differences among them, explaining using my free templates of $100 Shopee Calculator. Referencing cells is the basis of a spreadsheet software. Both Sheets and Excel have their own advantages in the advanced tiers of referencing. For example, in Sheets we can use open reference to get an infinite or growing list of data. This is useful when you are expecting the data size to be increased over time, such as getting new data from the new reports or getting the data from a Google Forms. There's no such things as open reference in Excel, but Excel has a cool feature called Spill Range Operator. It is very useful when dealing with array functions such as sequence, offset, and many others. By placing a hashtag at the back of the reference, it can refer to the entire spill range. Array functions are functions that can return a list or a data array. In Excel, most of the functions are able to return arrays of data. Even simply using the spill range operator with a simple calculation, an array of data can be generated. Let's say I want a list of results that is 15% of the order income. It did the calculations and listed out all the results. But since there are some non-numeric values among the list, the calculations will return error. This is not good because if I try to sum the results, it will return an error as well. In this case, we can use the if function, which can also generate a data array. I can use if is number functions to check if it is a numeric value, then do the calculation. Otherwise, leave empty. For me, Excel is much intuitive when dealing with array functions. If I simply refer to a range of values, it will return the range I selected. But in Google Sheets, it does not work that way, because not every function can return an array of data. Instead, we need to include it inside an array formula function. We can change the reference to the open reference and use the same if function so that the calculations apply to the entire range. Functions in the category of lookup is also one of the fundamental features of a spreadsheet software. I'm sure you know the VLOOKUP, no matter if you use Sheets or Excel. But the problem with VLOOKUP is that it can only find the values in the first column of a single referencing range. To overcome this issue, Excel introduced XLOOKUP. It is a highly flexible function as the users can define different referencing range for lookup value and return value. It can also return a default value if the lookup value isn't found. Google Sheets added XLOOKUP function back in August 2022. Prior to that, I used a trick to make VLOOKUP work like an XLOOKUP. No, I'm not talking about the index match. The $100 Shopee Calculator deals with a lot of dynamic arrays of data. So in Google Sheets, I have to use the array formula functions to make normal functions to return arrays of data. Index match does not work well inside the array formula. Instead, I use VLOOKUP with curly bracket as referencing range. Curly bracket in Google Sheets lets you make what I call an imaginary table. For example, in the all orders, I want to get the list of tracking numbers from the order report. In the helper columns, on top of each matching column, I have prepared the addresses for each column in the order report, so I can refer them using the indirect function. And then in the tracking numbers column of the main list, I use VLOOKUP with the imaginary table, where the column 1 is the order IDs, column 2 is the tracking numbers. Then in the third argument of VLOOKUP, set the columns 2 as the return array. With the use of curly bracket, you can design the imaginary table to look for a value from any column and return a value from any other column, even if both of the columns are not from the same sheet. But now, since Google Sheets added this XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP with curly bracket might not be a good trick anymore. Some other features that I like about Google Sheets, such as pop-up calendar in date cells, autocomplete drop-down list, grouping of columns for easy hide and unhide. As for Microsoft Excel, the fact that we are able to conditional format the cell borders is already a big win. This alone will make our spreadsheet look clean. What features do you like the most for these two applications? Leave your comment below. That is all for today's video. If you are a Shopee seller, do check out my $100 Shopee Calculator. It will greatly help you manage and analyze your Shopee shop. See you in the next video.